Why did I really want this book? It's a very important book, Responsa from the Holocaust. It's an amazingly powerful book. There's some of these excerpts on the Chabad website. If you want to look, you Google Responsa from the Holocaust, you can find it, like 10 of them. I have like 100 here, and there's really 5 volumes of this. I'm going to read a few of these halachas to you. This is, and some more tomorrow as well. This is Rabbi Oshri, Ephraim Oshri. He survived the Holocaust. He was a rabbi in the Kovno ghetto, and he answered people's halachic questions in real time in the Holocaust. He wrote the answers down himself so he wouldn't forget what he answered them. He buried them. Yeah, he wrote them on like scraps or whatever he could find. He buried them in cans in the ghetto because he had faith that he would be saved. And when he was saved from the ghetto, he came back, he retrieved them, and he put them all into a 5-volume book called like Responsa, Shivot Mimamakim, like from the depths, Responsa from the depths. The questions here are they're like breathtaking in like a negative way, in the sense that like you can't believe what people are going through and what they're asking. And his answers are very not always predictable, but they're very concise and very well thought out. So I want to share just a few of them with you. You get a feeling for what people are thinking about, and then we'll do a few more tomorrow. So they didn't have cups of wine. It's like real questions. Jews wanted to be halachic Jews, the ghetto. They didn't have cups of wine for the Seder Pesach. So what do? People asked him, what can we do? They had tea. So he told them they could do the 4 cups with tea, because tea is a drink that's commonly drank. Sweetened tea was considered a popular drink, and therefore you could do the 4 cups with them. He talked about if people don't have that, they should do kiddush over the matzah. And then he says something. He says, in order to inspire Jews with hope that the redemption was not far off, and also to fulfill the requirement of the halacha, my students made the tea available to as many people as possible. So I want to inspire people like to do the 4 cups, to think about the redemption with the sweet tea. And he said that you should make 2 blessings over the first and the third, and not all 4 cups, because it's a different law when it comes to wine. So it's like one question where he's trying to figure out, Jews are trying to observe the strict halacha. He's trying to find solutions for them. Sometimes he finds leniencies. Sometimes the opposite. He comes down very, very strictly, in a very strict way. So somebody asked him this question on the 1st of Nisan, March 19th, 1942. I was asked whether a person might purchase a baptismal certificate, which, if he could escape onto the forest, would enable him to join the partisans. So are they allowed to do that to save their lives? So here he came down very, very harsh. He said a baptismal certificate has only one connotation: that the owner of the certificate has, God forbid, forsaken his creator, denied his people, the people God chose as his treasure. It's absolutely forbidden for a Jew to use one, even though he believes wholeheartedly in the Rock of Israel and its Redeemer. He is commanded to sanctify God. I conclude that there was absolutely no way to allow using a baptismal certificate, even if one expected to save his life with it. That's like as a much more strict ruling. Here's somewhere in the middle. It was forbidden to the German enemy. This is August 26, 1942. German enemy issued an edict forbidding the Jews of the ghetto to gather in synagogues or in study halls. So he was still teaching, nevertheless. And Rav Naftali Weintraub, the Gabbai of the Gapinovich Shul, may God avenge him, asked me whether Torah law obligated him to risk his life to pray with his daily minyan and compel him to risk his life for Torah study. Like, does he have to follow this edict of not studying or not going to minyan because of fear of being killed? So it's not. You could go different ways with this, and he kind of does that. He goes, I did not have the heart to rule that every Jew should risk his life in order to study Torah or pray with a minyan. There were few with the purity of thought that could raise themselves to the level of a Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael. These are characters in the Tanakh. On the other hand, how could I forbid anyone to risk his life? All Jews possess holy souls that originate at the highest level above. And according to the halacha, each individual must probe the degree of his personal love and awe of God to determine his level of service to God and his consequent right or duty to make sacrifices. Beyond any doubt, the master of justice and mercy guides each person to act with sensitivity. So he says there's two sides to this. He can't forbid people out of their purity of heart. On the other hand, he can't obligate them as well. So he says for himself, I too, despite the decrees, continue to hold regular daily classes in public. And this ending is nice too. When the students of Tiferes Bachurim repaired Mr. Singer's building on they built a hideaway with electricity. Upon completion of the job, they even held a dedication ceremony. Our Torah study and prayers apparently found favor in the eyes of God, and we were privileged to survive the enemy. That's just a little window into some of what was going on, some of what he was thinking about, and some of what Rav Oshri wrote about in the Holocaust.